Hello. Not doing so well today. I feel very alone. And so logically, my brain says, feel alone, might as well be alone. So I'm isolated in my room. I don't feel any reason to leave it. Nothing that I normally would do is even a consideration. I've had so many. If you could just only know how many doctors and medical professionals say horrible things to me in regards to my medical and psychiatric issues. A lot of gaslighting, um, some malpractice. So, as soon as I make an appointment, I already feel extreme distrust and set on things going badly, particularly with male doctors. Not to say that I haven't had crummy female doctors in my bad experiences have been more on the side of neglectful and not really being on top of my needs. And with male physicians and health professionals, I get more of the gaslighting type thing. It's all, everything that's wrong with me has to do with bipolar disorder. I'm constipated. Bipolar disorder. It's not true, but it's easy for them. And I have had to demand referrals. I'm kind of having that. I'm in the midst of that problem right now. An example being, I in my mid-20s, I started experiencing severe shooting pain in the side of my head and my face. And went to the doctor numerous times because everything he suggested or was doing wasn't working. And finally, one visit, he wouldn't even look at me. He just stared at my chart and said, this was before I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was only diagnosed with a history of depression. He's looking at my chart, not me, and said, quote, well, sometimes people with depression have these pains and It's not that they're not really feeling pain, they are. There's just no physical reason for it. I demanded a neurology consult because I was a nurse. I know what nerve pain is like. And he gave me a diagnosis and he looked me straight in the eye like he knew what was going on. And he looked me right in the eyes and he said, you have trigeminal neuralgia, and that is a true and valid and real diagnosis. And then I went back in to the asshole doctor who then proceeded to try to talk me out of any treatment other than medication. As I'm in pain throughout, for weeks, and I wasn't due to change my insurance. As soon as I could change my insurance, I went to a different GP. One visit, she's like, you have trigeminal neuralgia. The best man you need to go see is this. Within 2 weeks, I was in that doctor's office. And then I was scheduled for cranial surgery where they found 2 blood vessels wrapped around the nerve that feeds the face. And they put 2 tiny little bitty sponges in there because they needed the blood vessels. They can't just cauterize them, I guess. But that's what they did. They do new stuff now. This was a long time ago. But when he was, the neurosurgeon, when he was assessing me, in the middle of the assessment, I just started bawling, just sobbing, and he was like taken aback. He was like, oh my God, what is this coming from? And I told him that he had just asked me, and you have a history of depression. And that's what triggered me to cry, because I thought he was going to say the same thing. And he was like, this has nothing to do with that. This is, and I had surgery and I had immediate relief. So there's a positive experience after a really bad experience. I've had, when I have been in vulnerable states in my bipolar disorder before they got my meds right, I was subjected to treatments and medications that I wasn't in the state of mind to say yes or no about, and that's how I ended up getting ECT. I was desperate at the time. I'd been depressed for a year straight, but I wasn't, because I was depressed, if I hadn't been depressed, I never would have thought of going that route. And I ended up with permanent disabilities from it. I've had just the way that some doctors look at me when I'm trying to talk about things, and I can see right through their eyes. I can see right into their eyes to their brain. That in the forefront, clouding their vision, is my psychiatric history. And it's worse with male doctors than female. Females have just bad experiences have been, they just like this current psychiatric group that I go to now, I have totally dropped the ball on me. I really probably should have sued them, make them pay my hospital bills. I